And now we're recording.
Oh, damn.
We got a little bit of a different lag on this one compared to the other one.
I thought it was old school, like you say, like now, and then you by mistake hit the end button and end it. That's exactly what I thought happened.
I've done that so many times where I'm like, all right, you ready to record? 3, 2, hung up on you.
We were just shitting on Ecamm. It's a company that like does a call recorder for Skype, and we were hating on them because they put me through hell a couple weeks back. And I tried explaining it to you, and I was pissed. And I could tell by the way I was texting you, you like semi-cared, but semi were like, it's not my problem, so I really don't give a shit about it that much.
I didn't get it at the time, and I was in the process of working.
Yeah. No, but like you were still giving me sympathy, like, damn, that sucks, dog. And I was like, legit, like, yo, this is very frustrating. Like, I've done everything with my computer. I've re-downloaded different versions of the shit, upgraded, downgraded. And you're like, damn, dog. And I still, in the back of my mind, was like, he doesn't get it, man. He just doesn't get this shit.
And then I got it.
And then a couple weeks later, the same exact shit happened to you.
Yeah, it's fucking technological stuff, man. I'm just like, just give me some shit that works and leave it alone. Don't hit me with like 47 updates, and the updates make it worse and make it lag more. And then now Skype has the option of recording a Skype call on some normal shit where you hit it on Skype, but it's kind of as good as Ecamm, but just a little bit short of it. And it's like, what?
Yeah, it's still there's a little bit of lag because it's almost just like you've asked us to video the shit, so that's step one. So we're exerting all of our energy there, and then you're like, can you also record this shit too? And they're like, bruh,
yeah,
we're already like you're already talking to your boy in a different state. Now you want us to record this shit too? It's like, we'll try.
They hire the dude who figured it out for the cheapest. That's probably what they did. And then like that's why it's not as good, because they paid some dude like, all right, look, we'll give you $75 to figure out how to make this shit record. And he's like, all right, man.
That's why, like, props to like a driving range, because they're on the same type of shit. Like you go there, well, you have your own set of clubs, but I go there and obviously I'm gonna get golf balls because it's a driving range. But then I'm even like, y'all can hit me with some clubs too? And they're like, bro, we got you, but these shits are gonna be fucked up. Like, them shits are gonna be rusty and dry and stale. So don't come, like, we're here to give you balls.
Hilarious, because that's so true. I used to work at a driving range. My first job ever was at a driving range. And I kid you not when I say, so I'm working in, let's see, I was born in 1988, so I had to have the job when it was 1998, maybe around the year 2000. I was young. I was like, it was 2000 or 2002. I was like 12 or 14 or something.
Oh, that,
yeah. Because I might have even started off the books. It might have been one of those things where it's like, you know, they don't record me for tax purposes, yada, yada. Yep. And I remember the shit. What was the old minimum wage? I think it was $5.15, right?
Jesus, I don't remember that far back. I feel like I started at 7, maybe.
No, it's $7.25. It's been $7.25 since the Bush years. There was 1 year in the Bush year.
Wait, it's still $7.25?
Yes, it's still $7.25. They're so insane. I know. That's what I'm saying.
I thought it was like 9 at least.
I started when it was the old shit. When it was like, I think it was $5.15, but I might be messing up the 15 cents thing. So maybe it was just $5, but whatever. Anyway, so they had. Like you said, it's a driving range. You sell the balls. The balls are old as hell. And like, you know, I know people who watch this don't know too much about golf, but like the older the golf ball is, it's not going to fly as far.
Yeah.
It's going to curve weird because when the dimple pattern on the ball wears off, that means it's not aerodynamic anymore. So it could like, you know, go in all different directions and whatnot. And we had a little room, which was supposed to be like a pro shop where they could buy clubs. Dog, I kid you not. Every single club in there, I'm talking about this is in the year like 2000 or 2002. Every club in there was from like 1975.
Dead ass. And those are the shits that they rented out, right?
What's that?
Were those the shits they were selling or rented out?
Those were ones they were selling. The ones that they handed out were even more whack because they were like OD generic. That it's like he bought them from a store. The owner bought it from a store that was like, don't buy these shits.com. And they were ridiculously like so bad, but you're right. That's exactly what it's like at driving ranges. They'll be like, yeah, people ever come in? But this shit is horrendous.
OD her, and it happens a lot of places too. Like you go try and like if there's an open gym somewhere at a YMCA, they got a basketball gym. Don't ask those motherfuckers for a ball. That shit is gonna be like James Naismith 1913 edition with the fucking like shit coming off. You know, like when the basketball, like the thing peels off and you dribble, it's like scratching your hand and shit. That's the YMCA ball you're getting. Bowling alley, same shit. You're gonna get a ball that like OD like weighs like 30 pounds or something, like just random shit. You can never find a ball your size. So don't ask a place who specializes in one shit to bless you with some other shit. So I fuck with Skype for their shit being a little fucked up, because if it was too good, you'd be like, something's up with Skype. They got too much money. They got too much time on their hands. I fuck with Skype.
You're hilarious, man. That's so funny.
Fuck with Skype.
And you did another show the other day, and you had to get Discord for it.
Oh, I feel bad, man, because I wanted, like, I was excited for it. Dude, we met a guy out at Politicon. Super cool guy, it turns out. You know, we were chatting a little bit back and forth before and now after his channel. His Twitter thing is like, I am really important. And he was at Politicon, and there was like a OD VIP room, but then there was like a VIP room, which I think you could like purchase a ticket to or some shit like that. So you had access to the whole shit, but you were mainly chilling in like the OD VIP shit.
Yeah, green room versus VIP room.
Yeah,
green room is where just, you know, the people who are there for the event get to go.
Yeah. So we were in there a majority of the time, because you were just posted chilling. But then occasionally you go to the VIP shit and meet up with a couple people that you knew. You met the guy Nico over there, and this guy was in there, and I feel bad. I don't even know his first name, to be honest with you. And he was like live streaming and asked you, what did he ask you to hop on the channel or something?
Yeah, he was talking to Bernie's press secretary, Brianna, and I walked in and I talked to her for a little bit, and then he was like, "Oh, we're live streaming."
You know what it was? I think you were talking to the guy Sagar or something
at one point,
in his shot, and you could see the shit like, you know, wilding out, like, oh, Kyle.
Yeah.
So then I think he like that obviously got his attention, asked you to maybe just say what's up or something like that. You blessed him with like a what's up, and he sent me a note I don't know, last week, and asked if I could come on like his roundtable thing on Sundays, and there was like 6 other people in there. But yeah,
that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people.
I sort of felt like I held my own until they started talking about like Second Amendment and really getting into like the Constitution and shit. I was like, I'm gonna fall back on this part.
Well, that's awesome though, that you said you know your limits. You're not gonna try to debate something you don't know anything about.
So I feel bad because one, I use this official mic, but he needed me to download like Twitch and Discord, which I don't know anything about any of those shits. So I basically said to him, if you could just spell out how to do all this shit, like I'll do the shit on Sunday. And he circled everything and pointed to things and told me how to mute things and do all that. And then I was like, on Sunday, if you could just bless me with a link that I could just plug in, and then the video comes on and I just am in there. He was like, I got you. Did that, but I guess my mic was too powerful for the link.
Oh, so you had to take the mic out?
No, I left it plugged in, and midway through it, he like stopped me and was like, Corin, we could sort of hear you, but sometimes when you speak lower, it cuts out or some shit. So I just didn't pay any mind to it, kept doing it. And then at the end, I was like saying bye because I got out of there an hour early. And I thought everything was good. I was like, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate, you inviting me on. And he was like, do you want to plug anything? I was like, yeah, just check out Corin's World on YouTube. And then I went back the next day and just watched the end of it. All my shit was cut out. And I was just like, all right, peace out. Like, you didn't hear anything from my mic. So my mic was real fucked up. So I felt bad.
Oh, shit. That's terrible.
Yeah.
That sucks, man.
Yeah. And I read, like, as I was leaving, one of the comments popped up because he told me, I didn't see any of the comments in the chat or anything, but he's like, yeah, people were excited. A lot of people tuned in and we're happy you were there. As my whole shit got cut out and it was just like, all right, peace. See you guys. It was like, good, man. I couldn't hear that guy anyway.
Damn. I mean, I guess, yeah, you said the mic. You could, I guess you should have just used your laptop mic the second that they were like, "Oh, there's a problem with it." You could have just
Yeah,
unplugged it and used the laptop mic, and you would have been fine.
I know. I fucked up. I didn't want to like make an adjustment while I was on the shit because then I
Yeah,
just looked like that guy.
then you're rolling the dice. Who knows? Maybe if you were to unplug it, your whole shit
Yeah.
would go out. You
Yeah.
know?
Isn't it fascinating to you? And like you're more in the world, I guess, than I am, but you're the same type of person as me that like there's that whole other world of like that Twitch and Discord and like all that other shit going on outside of YouTube, which is a beast within itself.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Twitch is my perception of it, I have no idea if this is the reality, but my perception is that it's generally a little younger people on
Oh,
Twitch, like
mhm.
younger audience even than YouTube, and YouTube's still young. But and also it's more gamer stuff, Like that's my general perception of it. It could be right or wrong, but yeah, I mean, I know Hassan Piker does he's got a very popular Twitch channel. So
But and I don't know if you even know, but is Discord connected with Twitch? Are they related somehow?
I think so. I think
Right.
I had to download Discord once too, and I think the thing they say about Discord is like if me and you were doing this live right now, we
Hmm.
couldn't do it through Skype because it can easily be hacked.
Oh, really?
Whereas with Discord, it's like it can't easily be hacked.
Hmm.
So because they wanted me, I did a stream with Hassan Piker once, and he was like, I was like, I thought I could Skype in, and he was like, you got to get Discord. I was like, what? Why? And then he explained it to me. He's like, yeah, like they can easily be hacked if you do Skype because they're live when you do it when you're on Twitch and you're using Discord.
Imagine
So
how random that would be if you're live and just some random hacker like sitting in a hoodie and
they
like
could just write like
boxers.
Big Dicks McGee underneath me and be like, that's his name, Big Dicks McGee. And then from now until forever, people would put like on Wikipedia, Kyle Big Dicks McGee Kulinski.
Damn, man, hackers. That's a weird thing because they're so smart, but like they're putting that energy towards something that's so fucking evil. Like,
Yeah, although
go.
I will say there are ethical hackers who use that only for good. Like they have their rules, they have lines, they respect boundaries, but they use those abilities for good.
But what, like to like
Snowden.
to like? Oh yeah.
Well, actually, he's not a good example because he was part of the NSA, and so he had access to all that stuff. But like, if somebody were to theoretically hack a government agency and release information that should have been released because we should know it, that would be an ethical hacker. You
Yeah,
know?
it's a tough conversation because it just happened in sports recently. With there was a guy who pitched on the Astros, who left. They won a World Series. He left the Astros and went to the Oakland A's. Then when he was on the A's, he came out and said that they were cheating like a motherfucker over with the Astros. And to me, I'm like, good man, like rat them out because that like no one should be cheating, and what they were doing is fucked up. They won a World Series from it, and now there's mad people coming out saying that he's not trustworthy. Teammates are probably looking at him like, can they trust this guy because he ratted out, you know, the Astros organization.
So, but what are the other teams are afraid he's going to rat on them? But if they're not cheating, what the hell they have to worry about?
That's what people are saying is that a lot of other teams cheated too. In baseball, you do stuff to like try to get an advantage on other teams. So even if it's
Like,
something
what is that?
small.
What gets done? Could you explain or no?
Yeah, so the Astros were like stealing signs from like the catchers and pitchers or whatever like that. So they knew which pitch was coming, prior, which is a crazy advantage in baseball. Like if you know a changeup is coming, you just
Oh,
wait on it
okay,
and
I see what you're saying. So the
crush a
opposing
home run.
team would send the signal, and then they would pick up on it. And okay,
And
is there
so he
anything
went
else?
to another team, ratted them out, and now all those people are like, nah, man, that's not, proper etiquette. You keep that shit in house, and don't tell everybody about it.
Nah, that's
But now
not.
mad people are getting fired. Former guys from the Astros are like managers of different teams now. They're all getting fired. Players are getting suspended. So like, it's really blown up the whole Major League Baseball. Similar to the Snowden shit. It's like he exposed people. People got fired, I'm sure. People got in trouble, went to jail or whatnot. But there's arguments on both sides of it. I'm on Snowden's side.
Yeah, I mean, if he's like, no, the only defense that I could see somebody making, which I would respect, even though I disagree with it, is if they said like that shit that we were doing should be legal. It shouldn't be against the rules. Like if somebody said that, I'd be like, I disagree with you, but okay, I see where you're like, I see what your point is. But if people are saying like, nah, he leaked that we were cheating, and yeah, those things still should be considered cheating, but don't leak it. It's like, what? What are you talking about? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Well, you
I don't
always
know.
said in the NBA, you always talked about the year that Dwayne Wade and Shaq won.
Yeah, man. Well, the referee has come out, and
That's
Tim
the
Donahue.
dude who didn't he like get arrested or something?
He got arrested, and now he wrote a book, and I think there's a movie coming out. Like, so he's capitalizing on himself cheating, which is just beyond fucked up. It's
That is kind of crazy. But I'm telling you, they definitely still do that. There's not a time where I watch the NBA where I'm not amazed at the calls. Like, I'm this close. I don't know what the answer is overall, but I feel like we're going to have to go back to, like cut the rules in half or even less than half. Because they'll call a foul for anything. Like, they could sway a game just by making BS calls.
Yeah, I'm fascinated. I'm always fascinated how Vegas can predict a line to a T. You know, like if it's like a 6-point spread and you watch Blazers versus Utah, at the end of the game, it'll be like 8 points or 5 points, and it'd be right around the and it amazes me that like I'm in the basketball world. I pay attention to that type of stuff with gambling and all that stuff. How do you there's got to be the same shit on Wall Street. Like people have to know like exact numbers or how the market's going to do from day to day, right? Like people stay on top of that shit.
But that's the thing is, at least in the Wall Street example, they don't know shit. The only way that people can guarantee stuff is if they're doing something illegal, if they're doing like insider trading, you know? And I feel like it's a similar thing for basketball. Like, no, the refs are probably rigging it because it's not like there's enough gray area too, because there's so many rules. It's like there's enough gray area where they could still make an argument even if they're rigging it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it'll be a close enough play where you're like, I could kind of see where they're coming from, but really they're just trying to, hit the number that they need to hit.
Yeah.
And it's
there's no repercussions. Like they don't have to answer to anybody. Like players have to do post-game interviews. Coaches have to do that shit. GMs sometimes. A referee should have to. They should have to sit at the podium after the game and be like, have a media person say like, hey, with 2 minutes left, you call the foul on Wade.
They call fouls for like if somebody talks back a little bit too much, they'll give them a foul, and it's like, this is not high school. Like what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like it's not about you, Mr. Ref. It's about the game. Like don't like interject yourself into the game like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, there's Matt. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to say I saw Tulsi's thing right before I came on that like she is just so gangster that she said like this isn't high school. Like this isn't high school. Like why? It's very frustrating, and not to switch the topic, but like the whole Hillary Clinton shit is frustrating as fuck.
Let's get to that in a second. But first, let's do the Biden one because the Biden thing happened first. Okay. So
tell me about the Biden thing.
So the Biden thing is one of Bernie's surrogates, somebody who works for his campaign, had written an article in The Guardian, and the article was about how Joe Biden has a corruption problem. Mm-hmm. And listen, the article's factual. Nobody's arguing against the substance of the article. The article is just true. And in fact, the person who wrote it is like literally an expert on corruption. Her name's Zephyr Teachout. And
her name is Zephyr Corruption.
And so what happened was apparently Bernie, after she wrote that article, there were some people who are like establishment Democrats, like Paul Krugman, for example, and many others who were like, this is a bad look for the Bernie campaign. Like almost like a how dare he kind of type thing. Like how dare one of his surrogates say such a thing. And so Bernie caught wind of this and he got upset and he like instructed the campaign, hey, nobody go out there and call Joe Biden corrupt because I don't want to do name calling. Like, let's focus on the issues. Let's not talk about, I don't know how he perceives it. He perceives it as like this is name calling or something, or this is personal, and let's not make it personal. Let's stick to the issues or whatever. But then, if that was the whole story, okay. I don't agree with you, Bernie, but whatever. I see it is what it is. Fine. No harm, no foul. But then Bernie goes on TV and apologizes to Joe Biden. And he says he's sorry. and nobody should be calling him corrupt. Bro, like, what? What are you trying to win?
Yeah, I think he's trying to win just really without like getting in the mud of that back and forth like name calling type of shit. Like, and I disagree with him a little bit, like, because I really like that he's strictly staying on policy and substance and not getting into that extra shit. I don't like the fact that people are perceiving like he said the shit. He didn't even say the shit, you know? And everyone automatically just puts the blame on him unless he said it too.
But here's the thing, and this is why I'm so flabbergasted by this. Dude, it's a fact that he's corrupt. It's not even personal. It's just a description. Like, you could say it's harsh, but yeah, it's harsh. But maybe he should be mad at himself for doing the corruption as opposed to mad at the people pointing it out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Dude, there's endless examples. Like, his entire family has gotten rich off of his name. And he's used his position to enrich the people around him. I mean, this is a dude. I tweeted out a video that I did like 6 or 7 months ago or whatever it was, where Joe Biden like bragged that he was ready to, quote, prostitute himself to big donors when he first ran for office. And he said that they told me, son, come back when you're 40. Like, in other words, you're not old enough yet. We don't take you seriously enough yet. But when you get old enough, come to us and you can, quote, prostitute yourself out to us. This is who we're talking about, Corin. Like, and
it wasn't on
thing,
some
man.
like sarcastic shit though, like on some
No.
like Cenk Uygur, like
No. It was, and you could see it too. Like, he's laughing about it and having fun with it, but he's dead serious. I was willing to prostitute myself to big donors, and they said, son, come back when you're 40. And so I had to do the small donors now, but, you know, in the future, I'm not going to do the small donor thing. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So, in other words, listen, Cor, Donald Trump, you think Trump's going to pull punches? You think he's going to bite his tongue? You think he's going to walk on eggshells and be civil and be polite and bend over backwards to be nice to him? No. So why are we playing fucking patty cakes here? You're in a primary. Play to win. I get it. You don't want to be personal? Fine, don't be personal. This isn't personal. That shit is just a basic description of what you've done in your career. And guys, not only should Bernie say he's corrupt, if you're going to say it, give the examples. Have a couple examples ready. Hey, you know, this is how much money you took from this company, and this is what you did in return for them. This is how much money your family member got over here. Here's what you did for that company. Here's what they did for you. Like,
you think there's like a put it into overdrive type of shit. It's like, we get your policy and all the shit that you're fighting for. Now expose these fucking frauds for who they are. And that, like, this is the, like, cross the finish line with that type of shit.
Those things are intertwined. And that's the point that's driving me crazy and driving other people crazy, is that Bernie's not calling a spade. And he's not being honest about the root of the problem. So, in other words, why is it okay for Bernie to go out there and hammer Biden relentlessly as he does on the Iraq war? Why is Bernie comfortable with that? Because that's something that he disagrees with. Okay, well, do you also agree with Joe Biden taking $100,000 from the health insurance industry this election? You do, right? Of course you do. Well, would you look at that? He's also opposed to Medicare for all. His plan leaves millions of people uninsured. I wonder why that is. Could it be in part because he took $100,000 from that industry? Yes. So in other words, to critique the policy positions and the votes, good, do that. That makes perfect sense, and be specific about that, and Bernie does. But to not point out why it is that these politicians are as bad as they are. Like, it's not just that Joe Biden or Hillary Clinton or any of these corporate Democrats, it's not just that they happen to be wrong about all these things they vote on. No, there's a reason why they're wrong. They're wrong because they're corrupt. They're wrong because they're taking money from Wall Street. They're taking money from the military-industrial complex. So that's the thing that's frustrating, man. It's so frustrating. Is like, and you're bullshitting us. He's bullshitting us when he says, like, no, don't call him corrupt. Nobody should be calling him corrupt. And then somebody pointed this out on Twitter, and it's a decent point. It might be part of what Bernie's considering. But he said we're about to go into an impeachment trial where the whole Republican counter argument is going to be Joe Biden is corrupt. Like that's going to be their whole counter argument. And so, Bernie doesn't want to give ammunition to the Republicans for that impeachment trial. But here's the thing, man. It's a foregone conclusion. Number one, we already know Trump is going to get acquitted. Number two, you're saying that for partisan reasons you have to lie to us? No, you're supposed to be the truth teller. You're supposed to be the person who keeps it real no matter what. That's why we like you. So it's frustrating, man. And then on top of all this, Core, Joe Biden, right before we came on to do the podcast, Joe Biden tweeted a new ad that he put out calling out Bernie. Oh. So Bernie apologizes to Joe Biden for his staffers saying something factual. He apologizes for that. And then he's rewarded the next day by Biden releasing an ad where Biden goes after Bernie because Bernie has been saying that Joe Biden wants to cut Social Security, which is true. Biden, his whole career, has advocated for cutting Social Security, so Bernie called it out. Now Joe releases an ad accusing Bernie of lying and saying, I never believed that. I never said that. There's endless videos. He said it, Corin, he said it like 10 times. It's on
I've seen a couple of them. Yeah.
So, like, think about that, Core. Biden is willing to lie to everybody's face, a bald-faced lie, and say, I never advocated that, and call Bernie a liar as he's lying. But this is the same guy that you're going to apologize to when you say, oh, sorry that my people called you corrupt. He is corrupt. Call a spade a spade. I'm sick and tired of him for personal relationships, wanting to go along to get along. These people despise you, Bernie, and they despise working people. These people are anathema to progress. They're going to do everything they can to get in the way of every goal that you care deeply about. So wake up, man. Somebody else said it on Twitter. He's bringing a spoon to a knife fight. Like, wake up, dog. Wake up.
I don't know. I would really be curious as to what his theory behind the not calling them out on their bullshit, like their track record.
Number one, he wants to stick to just the policy issues and not get to the root of it. And number two, he doesn't want to alienate Biden voters because he's been chipping away, getting more and more Biden voters.
So do you feel him on that a little bit?
No, I mean, I'll tell you why. Because, you still have to critique him to get them on your side. Yeah. So just like your Iraq war critique may have gotten some of them on your side, if you accurately accuse them of corruption and show your work, people might go, oh, that makes sense. Now I'm going to Bernie's side.
Yeah.
So it's just bad politics. It's like, and now we can talk about the Hillary Clinton thing because, again, it shows you, I think he messed up here too, because it shows you what his mindset is. So Hillary Clinton said in an interview, I don't know who it was with.
I just want to say one thing on Biden. And I said this to my sister, and she sort of defended him, he stutters a little bit. That's just his thing. But I don't think it's just his thing. You look at those old videos of him on the Senate floor, he's flowing, man. He's with it. He's saying competent shit. He's not stuttering. And you watch him in the debates or at just a random speech, it's really hard to watch. And for CNN and all these other outlets to not point that out, that he legit can't put a sentence together without having to close his eyes and think about the word that he's saying or fumble over a word or misstate a word. It's really hard to watch because it's every time he speaks and it's something is deteriorating in his brain. He's playing on the senior tour while other people are still fucking in their prime and shit like that. He's lost the step and nobody's calling out the fact that he's losing his mind. He doesn't know what's going on anymore.
Dude, that's the difference between the conversations that are happening outside of mainstream media and in mainstream media. In mainstream media, nobody would dare say what you just said. Mm-hmm. But everybody outside of those elite circles is talking about this. Everybody is. Everybody has noticed, hold on now. He's not he's incoherent.
Yeah.
So that's relevant, isn't it?
If you want to call Bernie on his age and the heart attack, there hasn't been one misstep. Nothing has fucking flawed him after that shit. If anything, he's gotten stronger from that shit. But to hear, I know, and I know CNN's a joke, and everyone's discussed the debate and how fucking a mess and shit show that was. But like for them to sit there afterwards and say that like Joe Biden potentially won the debate because here's his winning moment, and they show his closing speech, that it's just the most fluffiest marshmallow
He's
fucking
saying
bullshit.
nothing. Yeah, he's saying
Nothing going on. And then the lady after is like, you know what? He crushed that because I consider him the chicken noodle soup, because people just know that when they need some comforting or some consoling, they could just have some chicken noodle soup. And that's Joe Biden. He's the chicken noodle soup candidate. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it's, oh my God, man. And people who still defend like these news outlets, like we've got a buddy that we were talking about earlier, and he still swears by the New York Times. And like I was listening to Rogan and Jimmy Dore, and how like that whole New York Times shit, how fucking pompous is that of them to like
lying about Jank brazenly.
Oh, that, but no, I'm talking about the interview thing, and to record it and to like broadcast it. Like people give a fuck who they're endorsing. Like
I know.
like if you want to endorse somebody, you've got a newspaper. You got a whole newspaper to just come out and write that shit. You don't need to go on FX and record it and put these fucking people sitting around the table making faces and rolling their eyes like they matter. Like,
and then their endorsement made no sense. They went with
absolutely no sense.
Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, and though they're not even ideologically in agreement. So like what? That's like endorsing, like I endorse a centrist and somebody who's to the left of that. Like what? You got to pick one. That's not how an election works. You have to pick one. You have to pick one. That's what you have to do.
Oh, but like the fucking smug, like the faces they're just making as Bernie's speaking, and like
hate him. They hate him.
Fact
he
that
wasn't
people
even in their top 4. He wasn't in their top 4. Like they put Cory Booker ahead of him. Think about that for a second. Cory Booker, #1 recipient of big pharma money, voted against re-importing drugs from Canada, which would have cut the price of drugs. Cory Booker over frickin' Bernie Sanders. And their reasoning was, they said like, oh, we shouldn't trade one, uncompromising bomb thrower for another. So in other words, Bernie's like Trump because, they both like have rallies and are loud at the rallies. Like that's the argument. That's basically what it is. Forget the fact that like one person is calling for, more tax cuts for the rich and deregulation and more war and all that stuff. And then Bernie's calling for the exact opposite: less war, regulate Wall Street, raise taxes on the rich. It's fundamentally the exact opposite. But they're like, I don't know, you're both loud, so you're both bomb throwers and you're uncompromising. And it's like, wow, you guys have that's the political analysis that a dog would make if a dog could talk, because dogs respond to tone, like how you're saying something.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing. They're responding to tone. Klobuchar, they're endorsing somebody who's at like 2% in the polls and doesn't have a single principled bone in her body. She's just a flailing centrist.
It's like it was, and I put this out there like that, like when did endorsements become like this fucking gold standard? It's like, oh my God, I got John Legend, I got Dave Chappelle. Like Dave Chappelle,
he endorsed Yang.
Yeah, but his wife is Asian, so like maybe Yang blessed her with some shit and was like, yeah, we're gonna take care of everything. So Chappelle was like, let me make my wife happy real quick and just endorse Yang, get her off my back. Like,
I'm sure he likes Andrew Yang. He's a smart
Yang
dude.
seems like a good dude, but like I'm a little tired of his whole like, he was on Mar and he was on Colbert and his whole shit where it's like he's got to show that he's energetic and run out and like do this whole little like shuffle with his hands and be like, like
Yang did that or Colbert did that?
Yang does that. Like he like does like running in place thing to like show people that like he's really that. And Mar called him out on it. It was like, I saw you like jumping up and down a little bit. Like, what is that? To show people you're youthful and like energetic. And he didn't really have an answer to that shit, but he just kept doing it. And I was like, just fucking be normal.
People
don't know how to be normal.
He's not going to get the 15% that he needs to get delegates in the election, and neither is Tulsi. And I like both Yang and Tulsi, but I'm curious to see what they're going to do moving forward, because if you're not even going to get the 15% and there's no path for you to the nomination, then why stay in the race? That's my thing. I think, honestly, at this point, I 100% want Tulsi to be VP.
But so here's my question. Does she, like, Does she have enough juice, like if she became VP, to like really even boost Bernie up? Like if she's
Absolutely, dude.
oh really?
Joe Biden, when he was Obama's VP,
Yeah.
he had run in that same election trying to be the Democratic nominee, and he got like 2%. He got
Hmm.
obliterated. He did terrible.
But it's not like people voted for Obama because Biden was the VP. It wasn't like, oh, that seals the deal for me. He selected Biden, or did it?
No. I mean, listen, they voted for Obama because Obama was a very dynamic politician and he
Yeah.
fit the times well in terms of how he was portraying himself. Um, but Biden didn't hurt. I mean, we got to remember he was running against John McCain and Sarah Palin, and in those
Yeah.
vice presidential debates, Sarah Palin got obliterated by Joe Biden. And remember, that was back when he was all there.
Yeah.
And so he was but my point was he got like next to no votes in the primary, and then he was part of a winning ticket. So Tulsi, even though she's not doing too great in the polls right now, I think she counterbalances Bernie very well, because what I'm convinced of when it comes to Bernie now, after watching what's just unfolded with Biden and Hillary, he needs somebody who's going to be his attack dog, because he's not going
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
He's not going to do it. His instinct is to de-escalate. And sometimes you got to punch him back. And listen, for people who say, "Oh, he knows what he's doing. What are you talking about?" Really? The last person who won the election is Donald Trump. Donald Trump famously, anytime anybody in the Republican establishment said anything negative about him, he unleashed the hounds of hell on them. And guess what? He won all of those exchanges. Why? Because the Republican establishment is a paper tiger. And you know who else is a paper tiger? The Democratic establishment. So Bernie could punch him right in the face and people will like it. And it's
Do people like, I know this is a weird question because I care about it, and I know a lot of people that, follow you and on Twitter and are in like the Bernie world care about this shit. But like, do people even care if he got into the like nitty gritty with Biden on him being corrupt? Because like, it's almost like we all know that motherfucker's corrupt, and we know his son's corrupt, and we know all these other candidates are corrupt. But like,
that's
do
what they're
people
betting
care?
on. They're betting on that most people don't even follow the day-to-day stuff, and that they're not going to care too much about that one way or the other. And they're betting on like, no, let's just keep go out there and hitting our themes and talking about policy and improving people's lives and doing the political revolution. And that's their bet. They're betting on that. Is that true? I don't know. I hope it's true. I hope they're right, and I hope I'm wrong. But for me, as a general rule, I'm not a big fan of offense for offense's sake. I don't like that.
Yeah.
But what I am a big fan of is counterpunching.
Yeah.
So in other words, if you're not going to say shit negative to me or about my candidacy, my campaign, whatever, all right, bet. Like I'll just do my thing and talk about what I'm in favor of, so on and so forth. But if you're going to say something negative about me and my campaign, well, I'm going to punch you in the face 2 times as hard, because I'm not going to let you speak negatively on me like that.
And at least like defend your boy. Like if your boy came out with that article and said he's corrupt and whatnot, be like, yeah, the motherfucker is corrupt. I don't appreciate him really writing that shit right now because we've got to focus on this politics. But I do back whatever he said. He's corrupt, and it's all true.
I would have just been like, it's obvious. Next question. That's what I would have said about his corruption. Like, are we really debating this? Next question. It's one of those things, because it's true. I mean, all the evidence is there, but he is also personal friends with Joe Biden, so he doesn't want to do that. He feels like that's rude, that's mean, that's uncivil. But
that worked out with fucking Elizabeth Warren, man. And then like seeing them holding arms and shit, like Warren is so all over the place. Like fall back, stand on the other side or some shit, man. Like you don't get to lock arms with Bernie after all that bullshit you just try to pull on him.
I know. There was a good picture on social media at that same event you're talking about.
Yeah. You
see Bernie sitting next to Tulsi like whispering something to Bernie, and Elizabeth Warren is sitting next to Tulsi on the other side, like alone. And it's the perfect look, because I tweeted, this is like when you were the best friend, but were replaced by somebody much cooler. That's what that was.
It's true. And like, I don't get what the shit is with dancing. Like why and how
they all need to chill. Every one of them, even Bernie. Bernie, I love you, man, but you gotta chill. Nobody cares.
He was the most chill of all of them. Like
not even. I'm not even gonna give you that, dog.
No.
No.
He didn't really have too much. Like the guy, Tom is
Tom
Sawyer.
Steyer.
Tom
Steyer,
Sawyer.
Steyer.
Tom Sawyer's running for president. He obviously had too much pogo sticky leg rocking in his shit. Bernie, like, if I'm on stage and some music is playing, and I fuck with like all the black people on stage because they were in the back and all they're doing, like the music sounded like it was popping, but they're just chilling, like just throw a little head nod into the shit with some shoulders.
If he naturally did a head nod, I would be down with that, but it wasn't a natural head nod. It was here's a moment where I'm supposed to dance, so I'm going to try to awkwardly dance.
But if he doesn't dance, they call him out like Bernie's not having fun on stage.
No, they don't. No, they don't. If anybody tries to say something like that, just put that right in the bin of like all the dumb attacks that have been up against him. Like, oh, now you're gonna argue, oh, he shouldn't be dancing, or he should be dancing. You're gonna want to make him dance. How you want to do? They're not gonna do that.
You've done a couple live shows now, so I don't know how they've ever ended or whatnot. But like, if some music starts playing, and like two other people on the panel and the host start doing some dancing shit, what you just post up in your shit?
It depends. If I like the song, maybe I'll get a little head bob going, but I gotta like it. I'm not gonna force it.
Yeah. Nah, I fuck with you on that, because I'll even be in like when I used to go to like the bar or something like that. And if it's some whack shit and people are just dancing to just be wild and drunk and stupid, I'm standing there like looking around, like I might not look like I'm having a fun time, but I just don't fuck with either that song or the moment. But if they throw on some like 50 in the club, yeah,
Boys
like,
man, remember at karaoke back in the day? They hit us with End of the Road. Like, what?
Like if Busta Rhymes came on randomly or some shit,
I know,
it's
right?
over. It's over.
I know, that's
like,
what I'm saying. Like,
I might even
that's the thing.
Weird shit.
I'm one end of the spectrum or the other. If you hit me with some dope shit, not only will I dance, I might sing and mess around and all that, just to be in the moment. But if you're trying to, like, you're running for president, eyes are on you, and now is the time where I'm supposed to dance. It's like, And that's funny because people were coming after me. Remember when I made fun of Elizabeth Warren's dancing? And I was called a sexist and all these things?
Yeah, Cory Booker.
A grand total of 0 people will come after me for critiquing Bernie's dancing now.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to call me sexist. Nobody's going to call me rude. Nobody's going to say anything. There's going to be
Where's Cory Booker now?
Yeah, exactly. Cory, am I a sexist against men because I'm making fun of Bernie's dancing too?
It's so fucking fucked up, man.
Stupid. Anyway, let's talk about the Hillary thing. We didn't even talk about that yet.
Yeah.
So, I retweeted
Hillary.
So yeah, Hillary said, well, I'm not sure I can support Bernie even if he's the nominee, and nobody likes him. That's what she said. What are your thoughts, Cora?
First, when I saw this shit, is almost just like, she's really, at this point, just trying to stay relevant and just like using a guy she knows super popular right now and just trying to get some clout off his fucking name. I'm sure they quoted her from her book or whatever. I don't know if the book just came out or if it's still got to be selling in bookstores or whatnot. It's almost just like she's not relevant with anything else she fucking does right now. No one cares about her. I'm sure she's not getting hired. I mean, maybe she's still getting hired to do speeches, but like, keep his fucking name out of your mouth. Like, why are you so like interested in this dude? Like, it was frustrating because back in the day, I put a picture up on Twitter. I retweeted
that.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her in Scarsdale, like when I was in middle school. So I wasn't into politics. I just knew about Bill Clinton, and she was like running for whatever the fuck she was, secretary of
U.S. Senate.
So I was like excited to see her. She had Secret Service around her and stuff like that. And even before Bernie came about, I was like a fan of hers because she was like the only left-leaning candidate who seemed like a legit, person that could do some good things, No,
but keep going.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know as much about her back then than I do now. Yeah, exactly. But like,
people who like her just didn't know that much about her.
Yeah, and it's just clear as day now that like she's just so corrupt. She's salty about losing, and is just seems like a terrible human being. And just like is very cryptic in the shit she says, and throws shit out there knowing that like CNN, MSNBC, and all these fucking horrible news outlets are going to eat that shit alive because whatever she says obviously is factual because it's Hillary Clinton. Like the whole Tulsi shit. You can't just come out with some absurd ass statement, act like it's a fucking fact, like throw a grenade out there and then walk the fuck away.
I know. She's a Russian asset. She's being groomed by Russia. Like what? Are you insane?
She's my sister said it good. Like she's a fucking deplorable right now, and like she's grimy, man. And it was fucked up what she did to Bernie. And to your point, Bernie should have OD just been like, should have hit her with some gangster shit. Like, oh, she's talking from where's she talking from? She's not even running right now. Like she's irrelevant. Like tell her to fall back.
All he needed to do was a one-liner. That's all he needed. And you know, I would have liked something along the lines of, I'm not going to take lectures on being likable from the person who lost to Trump.
Yeah, it's perfect.
The other one that I was thinking of is if he said something like, you know, well, my approval rating is I'm the most popular senator in the country, and her approval rating is 36%. Something like that, because that's true. That's true. So like, I needed a one-line or something from Bernie, but Bernie took the high road yet again. Yeah. And he was asked, how do you respond to the fact that you said nobody likes you? And he said, well, my wife likes me on good days. And like, okay, that was witty and whatnot, and I think people are going to respond kindly to it. But
it also puts him in a war with Hillary, though, if he does attack her back, you know, because then it's like the media could put.
So what? Nobody likes her, bro. 36% favorability rating.
But she's irrelevant. Like we shouldn't even be talking about her. Like
she's getting what she wants. All the more reason why, if you hit her back, you win the exchange. It's like when Mitt Romney went after Donald Trump. Remember when Donald Trump was running in 2016, and Mitt Romney, who had begged for his endorsement previously, you know, Mitt Romney comes out and gives a speech against Trump, and then Trump hit him back, and like that didn't hurt Trump. It helped Trump. You want to know why? Because people hate these establishment goons. And that's what Hillary is. She's an establishment goon. I'm not saying Bernie should have went like over the top with it. Just a quick one-liner, just some dismissive shit. But again, he took the high road.
It gets dicey with her because she is a Clinton. She is female, so like people can say that he's attacking her there. Like there's so many different storylines and routes. Like she's got an army of media that has her back, you know? So it's like, regardless of what you say, you're not winning that shit. So, like, say something witty.
So what? Donald Trump is president, Corin. He hit back at everybody whenever they said anything against him. He didn't care that he was going to get negative press. He didn't care that people who have no fans and nobody likes him are going to come after him. He likes it. He welcomes their hatred because he knows that they're paper tigers.
Yeah, but he's got the clout. Like, he's got the clout right now to take that ammo. Bernie's still fighting for that spot. You know, like...
I disagree. This is how you get that spot. You get that spot by puffing your chest out saying, I'm the man in this bitch. I'm the man here.
I don't know.
Corin, you're overthinking it. If you fire back at somebody who has a 36% approval rating and you're the most popular senator in the country and everybody knows that she voted for the Iraq war, she's super corrupt, she still has been blaming everything but herself for her own loss to Donald Trump. He campaigned for her over 30 freaking times, and she's going to throw you under the bus? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's grimy and it's frustrating, and it won't surprise me if she has her own talk show or some shit on CNN, or I don't like, what does she do now? Just fucking go around randomly to Howard Stern and popular talk shows and just talk shit about people?
I don't know, but she just tweeted before. I'll read you the tweet. Hold on one sec.
I mean, like...
Let me find it.
It's just crazy how... I'm sure she was nice at one point of her life, but how fucking politics just corrupts the shit out of you. Like... I can't look at...
Here's what
Nancy
she said.
Pelosi.
Here's what she said. I thought everyone wanted my authentic, unvarnished views. But to be serious, the number one priority for our country and world is retiring Trump. And, as I always have, I will do whatever I can to support our nominee. Except you just said the opposite.
Exactly.
And then she also contradicts herself here because You just said you're not sure you're going to support him if he's the nominee. You just said nobody likes him. And now you said, well, I was being authentic and unvarnished, but okay, I'll do the opposite. Which is it? Are you gonna do the authentic thing, which is not help him, or are you gonna? But listen, overall, I'm just happy. Just get out of the way. Like, I don't want her to campaign for us. I don't want her to show up anywhere for the left. Like, just get out of our way. That's all I want.
Go play tennis somewhere or some shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't want her
but that's why I think in a couple days or even a day, the story's gone. Like she's showing herself to be the clown that she is. You know, like nothing she says has any validity to it.
So you're saying she played herself, is what you're saying?
She played herself OD on the Howard Stern shit. She played herself with the Tulsi shit. Like, people know she's a clown, and like I fuck with Bernie for being like, I'll let my people handle her because she's not even worth my shit. You know, like the Biden shit pisses me off a little bit because he's on the same playing field as you right now. So you got to hit him with some shots. You hit him with a couple body blows or some shit. But Hillary, he knows it's like, she's not even worth my fucking time to respond to her with some shit.
I'm happy we had this conversation because you're providing me with like a counter position, which I think there's some merit to it. I mean,
I think it's just like over time, people start to expose themselves for the craziness people that they are.
So you're saying that because of how Bernie handled this, everybody will look at Bernie and go, oh, well, that's the dude who's still going to fight for my health care and fight for my 100%. Wages.
Everyone is coming out and saying this dude campaigned for you 30-something times and like did all this shit. I don't know. People know she's fucking a lunatic. She went off the rails. She felt the power. She didn't win. And now she's just craving for that shit again. It's like she's so hungry for it. She's just saying the most random shit. It's like she's just got diarrhea of the fucking mouth with random shit. She's attacking anybody who's popular. So it's like, we don't really fuck with that lady anymore. She's crazy.
Maybe it is going to help him because the Elizabeth Warren thing helped him. And his approach to the Elizabeth Warren thing was almost on some like, I don't want to have anything to do with this conversation, and I don't want to say anything negative. I don't want to say anything positive. I just want to say that I didn't say that, and let's move on to something else. And like that reaction was sort of gangster, and people kind of saw through Warren and thought like, why she seems like desperate and like she's trying to force this narrative out there. And he's just like, can we talk about some serious shit? And so he went up in the polls after the debate, and she went down in the polls after the debate. So
people are smart, man. They you could get fooled a couple times by someone being nice to you, on the spot. Like I fucking met her. She was smiling. She seemed nice. But like you start to see people's true colors once they start fucking speaking. Like I'm sure before people watch this podcast, they're like, oh, like this kid Corin might be okay. He said, he knows how to speak and like he looks normal and his hair is spiked. And then I start talking and they're like, this guy's a fucking idiot. So like the more you say, the more people realize how fucking dumb you are. Like the same shit with Biden. It's like he's on stage in his safe zone during the debate. So it's like, oh, he sounds pretty normal. He looks like a president.
No.
Put him in a normal fucking setting. Like throw him in a fucking pizza shop or some shit, just ordering a pizza. The guy would be like, hey, it's just
zip zop zoobada bop. Yeah. Let me have the Jello pudding pepperoni pop.
It's like let people do the talking, and then you could start to fucking figure out the fucking clowns that they are.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you have an argument, and I'm curious to see like how this unfolds. I mean, with the Warren thing, Bernie went up, so it's possible that it's interesting because Trump was the polar opposite in that anytime anybody said anything against him, he would always hit back, and then he would always go up in the polls. Mm-hmm. In the case of Bernie, he's got all these unpopular establishment idiots who go after him, and he doesn't say shit, and he goes up in the polls.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the thing that people are really responding to is when you get attacked by a bunch of morons, people just like you no matter what after that. Doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter if you fire back or don't fire back. The thing is like, oh, we just don't like these idiots who are hitting you in the case of Trump and in the case of Bernie. So it's just, he goes up, he goes up, he goes up. But I don't know, man. In the case of Bernie and Hillary, I just wish For Hillary, all I needed was one line, man. All I needed was one line. Like, I don't need a lecture on likability from somebody who lost to Trump. Like, that's it. That's all I needed. You know?
She doesn't even fucking warrant that shit anymore, man. Like, she dead ass does not warrant that shit with the fucking crazy shit that she says. And it's like, the next shit she does or says, this probably fucking fired her up even more. She probably said to people, oh, watch, I'm going to fucking drop a grenade today on Bernie. I'm going to say nobody likes him and he's terrible. And he's going to be pissed and he's going to be grumpy and he's going to come back at me and we're going to have a little bit of war. And he didn't fire it. So now her next shit is going to be like, Bernie's got a little dick. And they're going to be like, what the this bitch is crazy. She's just saying like, random shit now.
Actually, Hillary, 5 inches is relatively average. Thank you very much.
Now, if he was gangster and was like, bitch, my shit is slanging, then like, I got fuck with Bernie. That's where he would fire back. Some
Imagine
shit
he
that,
tweeted
like,
that, bitch, comma, my shit is slanging.
He would be the OG. Like, he would win the black vote. He'd win the Hispanic vote. He'd win the white vote. Every vote. Because it's like, this dude's gangster, man. Like, no one says
I like
that
how
shit.
you gave a demographic breakdown.
Buttigieg isn't tweeting that shit because he got that little ass speed. There's no way Buttigieg could tweet that shit.
Oh shit!
Let's call a spade a spade, man.
That dude is so annoying.
That's what I'm saying. Hillary's turning into like just your crazy aunt. Like, she's just gonna start saying the craziest shit. Like, she might even end up on Fox News. Like, she might even end up with like running Fox News. That's how corrupt this bitch is.
That's not gonna happen. But
telling you, dog,
I wouldn't be surprised.
She's on that highway right now.
No, but she's a CNN, MSNBC person. They love her. They love her so much in corporate media.
Wait till Fox News shows her that. Show me the money.
They hate her, man. They hate her because they hate anybody who's a Democrat, even if the Democrat agrees with them on everything.
Wait till she starts attacking other Democrats, man. She
attacked Tulsi and she attacked Bernie, two of like the ones who were not bad. She's
saying that shit about them. I could put money that she's saying fucked up shit about Biden too, and is just being sour about all those guys.
But that's her people's. Like, she could be back in the government if Biden gets elected. She could be back in like some position, like Treasury Secretary. She was already Secretary of State, but like she could be in a cabinet again. Like, there's certain people who are running who would still allow her in with open arms. Biden is probably
her next big story. She's gonna be at Mar-a-Lago or she's gonna be playing golf with Trump or some shit. I'll put money on it.
No way. They hate each other.
She's going off the rails, dog. Like,
yeah, but it's off the rails in a way. Like, it's off the rails in that she hates the left and she hates the right. Like, she hates Republicans and she hates actual lefties. Like, she's a centrist, so her friends are centrists. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, she's not. They hate her, dog. The right hates her so much.
I don't think really anybody in the DNC probably fucks with her anymore either because she knows she's crazy. Like, I don't know. I just think she's really lost it, and like she's just reaching for shit to stay relevant. And that's what people do is they start going crazy, man. So that shit would shout out to Delonte West, man. I hope he gets some help. But like,
oh yeah, that was sad.
Start going crazy.
Delonte West, former NBA player. When he was drafted in 03 or 04, or one of those 2 years.
Something like that. But he had a phenomenal college career, and they had an incredible run at St. Joseph's, him and Jameer Nelson. And why do I feel like I said that name wrong? It's Jameer Nelson, right?
It's Jameer Nelson, yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's Jameer Nelson.
Nelson sounds wrong, but they had I think they made it to the Sweet 16s at St. Joseph's College, I think out of New Jersey or Pennsylvania maybe or something like that. And then I don't know if he got drafted by the Cavs.
Yeah, I don't know if he was drafted. No. It might have been Mark Cuban. It might have been Mavericks, or was he Mavericks after the Cavs?
Yeah, Mavericks after.
Okay.
Regardless, he was in a viral video, which people are saying, be careful what you share because, like, obviously it was a terrible video of him, but he was a former NBA player, got millions of dollars, and now he's homeless and just in bad shape.
Yeah, I mean, it was super sad, but it's real. Here's a guy who was a former NBA player. He had over a 10-year career. He was in
Yeah.
the NBA for over 10 years. Then he went to the G League, and then he in 2015 or 2016 he was released, and there's been mad videos of him since, just like out on the streets, looks like he's homeless, you know.
Teeth are all messed up and stuff. It's
Yeah,
crazy, man.
drug
Because
abuse, and apparently said he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at one point, and he just never like took the medicine or whatever, or he acted like it wasn't a big deal. But obviously it's a problem now. And that video I showed you is not even the only video. There's another video that shows him getting beat up in the middle of the street.
oh, really?
Like in the middle of the street in Washington, D.C. on a winter day, getting beat up by somebody.
Sad, man. It's sad. Like, just like I text you in the morning because when I walk from the train to my office, you walk past homeless people, and Chicago is cold as fuck, and people are sleeping like outside of doors in sleeping bags with like just boxes around them and stuff like that. It's depressing shit, and you see these signs that say like my mother's got cancer or Vietnam vet and all this shit, and it's just like these people should be taken care of, man. Like, they shouldn't have to rely on change from people like coming off the train, walking to work in the morning. There should be a place for them. Yeah, it's sad seeing all these shit, man, because it's like, I feel like the news tries to make you depressed in general, but like when you go out into a major city and actually see this shit with your own eyes, it's tough to look at that stuff, man. It's hard for me, because I can't give money every day. I don't have a fucking $1 million, but to walk by someone and like make eye contact with them and just know, like see, like just making eye contact with someone who's struggling so much is hard for me, and I'm sure it's hard for other people too.
Yeah, I mean, there really should be help, and there really should be a place where you get a roof over your head. It's really not that much to ask for. If we could spend $2 trillion in Afghanistan, $7 trillion in Iraq, 740 some odd billion dollars on the military every year, really, we can't house homeless people? I'm sure it is nothing compared to those numbers. To house homeless people, I'm sure we're talking less than $100 billion.
You know what's fascinating to me is like Bloomberg has a commercial on TV every single second, every channel.
That's his whole campaign. His whole campaign is just ads, ad buys.
That's what it is, right? But like the amount of money he spends, and literally, like, I don't think anybody out there can say he's got a shot at winning the presidency. He's literally taking all this money and just burning it. Like, he's burning millions of dollars that could be, like, you really want to be a hero or something like that? Say you're dropping out and you're going to donate all the $500 million you're going to put on TV ads to homelessness or to education or some shit. Then people be like, damn, Bloomberg's really about this shit.
100% correct. That's a bunch of people made that point, and I think it's a brilliant point. It's like, if you really want to make a difference, you have the funds to just make a difference. So you could put no strings attached, roof over everybody's head who's homeless, have at those same like apartment buildings where you give them all an apartment, like you could also staff people for rehab. You could staff psychologists and psychiatrists for people going through mental health issues, counselors. Like, you could legit fix hundreds of thousands of lives if you just took the money that you're going to spend, because he's going to end up spending $1 billion probably.
Crazy.
He's already spent over $100 million. He's been in the race for 3.5 minutes. He spent over $100 million on ads so far, and he's going to keep spending on it. So, like, yeah, he could have made a huge difference.
Mind-blowing to me. Like, legit mind-blowing to me. Because, like, he would look like there's no bad story that can come out. And if you just say, I'm donating $100 million to the New York City education system, every school is going to get refurbished. Every school is going to have, like, not just a portion of the city, the Bronx or something like that. Every school with $100 million is going to get some shit. And he would just be like, this guy is a savior.
That's exactly right.
But you're so right. It's just like, in his commercials, he'll say, we're going to fix education, we're going to fix all this shit. But it's just like, maybe hold off on the commercial and actually put that money towards the shit. Yeah,
because you ain't getting in the White House. That's for damn sure.
Commercial right here, Bloomberg.
Yeah, that's it. Corin, I'm not kidding. That's his whole campaign is, I'm just going to carpet bomb the airwaves with ads, because his name isn't even on the ballot in the first 4 states, Corin. Crazy. He enters the race on Super Tuesday, which is after we've had the first 4 elections. After
What?
we've had
He's not even on. Like he can't even. He's not even in the Iowa caucus thing and all this shit.
Nope. He's not in Iowa. He's not in New Hampshire. He's not in Nevada. He's not in what's the other one I'm missing?
Oh.
There's one other that I'm missing. But yeah, California, I think actually. He's not in any of those. He's only in from Super Tuesday, which is like that's also just incredibly arrogant and disrespectful to the voters of those places. Like, really, you're just gonna skip a state? That's what you're gonna do? You're gonna skip a state? Like, seriously? Yeah, he's terrible.
You have to be to think you're still gonna win with 4 states already running behind the 8 ball.
This is what happens when you're a multi-billionaire and you surround yourself with yes men and yes women. Like all those consultants around him are making money, man. Yeah. And so they're going to want to incentivize him to keep going because the longer he goes, the longer they get paid. So you're going to be like, oh, yeah, you totally have a chance. Oh, yeah, your polling's looking good on Super Tuesday. Oh, yeah, just do some more ad buys. Oh, yeah, by the way, let me get a little bit more money.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So anyway.
One thing I fuck with, as bad as it sounds, I think the guy, he probably was fucked up and made his money in bad ways, but the Tom Sawyer guy.
Tom Sawyer?
he seems like a happy guy. And
everybody's saying too. Now everybody's gone with the woke Tom Steyer theory. And they've been saying like, because he tried to talk to Bernie after the debate and he was like excited. He's like, hey, but Bernie, I just want to say hi.
Yeah.
And Bernie was like, yeah, okay, good.
So gangster.
Classic Bernie answer. But then there was another video that came out. They were at an event for Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
Bernie's sitting there and Tom Steyer's like sitting next to him. And he's just so happy. He's got this big cheese on his face. And like he gets excited every time he talks to Bernie. And today, you know how everybody was tweeting hashtag I like Bernie? Because of what Hillary said?
Yep.
Tom did it too. Oh. So, yeah, that was interesting.
It's a low-key genius move to sort of ride his coattail a little bit because, like, you're picking up people, like a majority of people that like Bernie.
Yeah, but the other thing is, and this was a point made by Li Fang of The Intercept. He made it on Twitter. He said that apparently in the last election, in the 2016 primary, Tom Sawyer, I like that. I'm going with that now, too. Tom Sawyer decided to register like millions of people on college campuses to vote. And what Li Fang said is there is a 0% chance that he did that not knowing it would help Bernie. In other words, he chose to register people in the primary on college campuses because he thought it would help Bernie and he wanted Bernie to win over Hillary.
That's what's up.
No, but I don't know if that theory is true. But that's the theory. The theory that they're putting out there is like low key, he's a Bernie dude, and like he registered people because he wanted Bernie to beat Hillary. That's the theory. I don't know if that's true though. To be fair, because you got to remember this guy also was a hedge fund guy.
That's what I'm saying.
And he also made a lot of money in fossil fuels. So
you remember what was the movie with Denzel where they robbed the bank and then lived behind the bank for a couple months?
Inside
Man. If you remember in Inside Man, there was the Jewish guy who was trying to get like his safe deposit back or whatever. And he had all these awards from like Jewish foundations and all this Israeli shit. But he made all of his money off of like IBM during the Holocaust or something like that. And that's what got exposed. So it's like I think this happens a lot. People make their money in corrupt ways. And then to try to get some good karma back once they've made it, they'll start, doing the right thing. So it's like,
so that's your theory for Steyer backing Bernie. You think he backs Bernie?
Yeah, because it's like,
hey, listen,
I made all my money in a fucked up way, screwed people over, did grimy shit. Now let me try and get in the good graces of, the ether.
He's going to drop out at some point, and we'll know if he's the real deal. All right, endorse Bernie, fam. Yeah. Like, you could do it. If you want to drop out and endorse him, you could do it. You could do it.
Yeah.
And he has to have that realization soon that like, oh, I can't win. I'm nowhere near winning. So
when is like the cutoff date? Because it's just like these people have to know they're not going to win.
Well, Iowa's in 2 or 3 weeks, man. It's soon.
So after Iowa, maybe they realize like, is it really money? Like, because I feel like Beto still probably could have had people fucking with him up until like the shit, as bad as he is.
I think Beto was actually running to win, like he wanted to win, and he was the numbers were just so bad that he knew he had no chance.
I sort of give him some props for realizing that shit way back and not
Well,
being like,
I said, we're going to learn who has shame and who doesn't have shame. The
yeah,
people who drop out early have some semblance of shame, and they don't want to actually go into the elections and get 1% and embarrass themselves.
yeah,
So you drop out way before, and then people kind of forget. And then when the next election comes around, you could hop in the race, and people don't remember that you did like super bad and dropped out like mad early before any votes.
at some point, even if I'm fucking the richest person in the world, at some point I'm still like, what am I doing with my money? Like I'm just dumping this shit in the toilet and flushing it
Well,
away.
to be fair to Tom Steyer, he took some pledge where he's like giving away like 50% of his money to like good causes.
Oh,
I
really?
think. Yeah, there's a bunch of billionaires who've taken that pledge, which is good. It's better than nothing. But yeah, I mean, I think I
I'm
agree
not taking that
more.
fucking pledge if I'm a billionaire. I'll pay my taxes, but I'm gonna
I
donate. What am I gonna go to Salvation Army Bell right outside of Walmart and just put $1 million in there?
But that's the thing is like we should just have a system where they're taxed a
Yeah,
reasonable amount, and then you put that money in the things that you go to, like healthcare and education and stuff like that. Like we shouldn't have to rely on the good graces of billionaires.
exactly.
Yeah, like that's crazy that we have a system where you have to rely on a billionaire being reasonable when
Yep.
usually they became billionaires by being OD greedy and lucky.
Yeah.
Like, like they could be smart too, sure, but there's plenty of greedy ones and lucky ones.
Yeah, I watch Ellen occasionally, and I mean, you've made this point. A lot of people make this point, but like she'll give a lady with some condition or whatever who's got all this medical bills, $20,000 from Shutterfly or something like that, and it's like that lady shouldn't have to be saved by Ellen for some health problem that she had, or a
Exactly.
principal from some inner city
So
school
true.
shouldn't be relying on Ellen and Cheerios to donate $50,000 to their school.
So
To,
true.
oh,
You're so right. You're so right. I've had that thought many times. Mainstream media does this all the time. Like local news will do this, where they'll play a story where it's like, manager buys worker who walks 8 miles a day a
yes,
car.
she's
And
done
it's
that
like,
plenty of times.
that's
It's like,
not a feel good story. That's not a
yes,
feel good story. Or like another one was like, kid who was in the hospital goes to work to make sure he could pay for presents for his family or whatever. And it's like, that shit is not an uplifting story. That shit is like a
yeah,
evil sci-fi movie that like we
yeah,
live in a dystopian future. Like, no, that's terrible.
yeah.
But they don't know. They can't tell the difference because they're idiots. They just go with like, oh, this is feel good. It's a story about stick-to-itiveness. It's
Yeah,
like,
they put
oh
some
my
music
god,
to it or some shit, and like they
yeah.
get me every time, man, because it's like, yeah, you're right. She had some lady on who fucking walks like 30 miles each way every day to like go work at KFC or some shit for like 8 hours, doesn't get to see her kids. She was like, we're gonna buy you a car. And then probably 2 years, the lady's gonna have to fucking re-up her insurance, and then like she's still got to pay gas. I
It's just
doubt Ellen's hitting her with a paycheck every fucking 2 years.
well, it's like Adam Johnson makes this point. He's a like a journalist for Fair, and he says fairness and accuracy in reporting. He says that they should like that the focus of that story should be look at how terrible our public transportation system is.
Yes.
So like use that story to say fix the transportation system, but they don't. They just use it to say like isn't the boss amazing for buying her a car?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's like the old Pimp My Ride, man, where it's like they'd have the fucking most busty, raggedy ass car. They bring it to exhibit and they put like 40 TVs on the outside of the car. They probably bring it
And a
back to
fish
like the
tank for
hood.
no reason.
And then the shit probably gets robbed the next day. Like the lady can't sustain probably her car payments if she's like just hit her with $10,000.
I love
Like
I, I
hit
love
her
the
with some
fish
shit. Let
tank.
her decide let her buy a bike or some shit. Don't give her a Nissan.
Dog, I saw an episode of that show where they put a fish tank like in the middle of the car
Oh,
for no reason, and I was like, why are they doing that?
they used to do the most dog. When they put the TVs on the outside of the tires, I
Ah.
lost it. I was just like, well, and even back then when I was in high school, when I thought like a majority of shit was hot, like the old school spinning wheels and shit, they're like, we're going to put spinners on your shit with 10-inch TVs in the middle of them. And the guy's like, yo, what? That's crazy. My boy's going to love that. It's like, no, you're going to get robbed for all of the shit on your car. And if you couldn't keep a fucking
Uh,
like 94 Toyota Corolla in shape? What makes you think you're gonna keep like a 94 Corolla that's just been upgraded with some TVs in it in better condition? That shit was. They need to bring that shit back.
yeah, it was so bad it was good. Like it was enjoyable because it was so bad.
And Exhibit was amazing. He was all about it because I think he really thought that all the shit they put in the car was hot. Like,
I'm sure, yeah. I'm sure.
dude, would you accept the car if they were like, we'll give you a free car, but it's got a big ass fish tank in the back of it?
Probably not.
That goes to like the age old question. Like, if you were in high school, didn't have a car, and someone was like, we'll hit you with a car, but it's going to be like a big ass Trojan condom, like advertisement car, would you drive it?
That'd be weary as hell.
That's
You
what I'm
could have
saying.
hit me
It's
with
like
some
you're getting
normal
a free
shit.
car.
You could have hit me with like it's a Buick from like 1957 that
Nah.
looks like a big ass boat. Like that's a legit.
I would
question.
take that.
Yeah, I would take it too, but I wouldn't be happy. I'd be like, damn, I got to drive in that shit. Looking like a Mississippi pimp driving.
Oh, yo, I told you I was getting off the train and like I didn't realize my stop was next and my leg OD got numb on me. My whole shit was numb as fuck. And there was people still sitting in front of me and the conductor and shit. And I got up and I couldn't walk. I couldn't like hop or anything. So I OD had the gangster lean with my shit. Like and everyone was looking at me, so I had to say a comment. And I never talked to anybody on the train, but I said out loud to like myself and I guess them, like, leg died. My shit got OD numb. It was crazy.
Oh man, I wish I had a video of that. The
It was
Mississippi pimp
actually
walk.
really funny.
Gangster ass walk. Everybody's looking at you like, why are you trying to be all thugged out right now? And you're like, yo, my leg is asleep. I
If you
told
get
you
out
the
of
story.
if you get out of the car in that old school Buick, you would definitely be in like a purple ass suit with a top hat and a cane.
Have to be a purple ass suit. Absolutely. I told you the story when I was a kid. My dad took me hunting when I was a kid. Everybody calm down. We didn't actually kill anything. But you have to wake up mad early for no reason, and you go and you sit in the woods, and it's literally like -8 degrees out there, and you're dressed like in so many layers, it's ridiculous. But so we were sitting down waiting for like deer to come or whatever, and I didn't realize I was sitting like kind of on my feet type thing, and then when he was like, all right, there's a bad spot, let's move. It was like an hour and a half, 2 hours into it or whatever. I go to move, dog. Both of my legs were asleep. Like when I say dead, I mean like I had a literal 2-minute period of my life where I knew exactly what it was like to be paralyzed.
Yeah.
100%. I was like, oh my God, my legs just don't work anymore.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy.
I immediately went to panic mode too, because there was like, when I tell you, Corin, there wasn't a sign of life in there. There was not even like a little sign of life. It was just, they were dead. And so I started freaking out and I was like, Dad, my legs don't work. My dad being my dad, he was like, shh.
The deer are going to run away.
It's like, yo, my legs don't work, dog. Like, this is kind of serious right now. But yeah, so I had to sit there and like almost like rub my legs.
Yeah.
To like get the blood flow back in them, and eventually the blood got back in them. But it was scary, man. I was like, my legs didn't work there for a hot minute.
I was at a basketball camp one time, and a guy in a wheelchair who played in like the professional wheelchair league or something like that came and said he told us the story that he like pulled something out of the oven one time and had it on his legs, and didn't realize that it was burning his legs because he didn't feel anything. And it's wild to me that like, you know, I mean, I don't know what it's like to be handicapped, but like I can't imagine that shit.
Dog, you froze OD there. I'm gonna need you to tell that story
too, but did you hear me?
No, I didn't even hear you.
Okay, good. It probably wasn't a good story. I was sort of happy. Maybe Skype was OD blessing me and froze me on that story because it was dumb.
Imagine like they were like, no, this isn't a good one. Pause.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten that ever. It literally said connection lost for a second.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I was surprised it didn't make us hang up because it said connection lost for a second and then it came right back.
Because my shit, it just froze, but everything still looked good. But yeah, it was like a story about some like a professional handicap basketball player came to the basketball camp, and he pulled a hot like plate out of the oven and had it on his legs, and didn't realize that like his legs were burning because he didn't feel anything. He had like the
Oh
tray
my
on his lap.
God. Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. That sounds terrible.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
But that's also sounds like something that if it was fake, it'd be hilarious because it could be in a TV show
yeah.
where like a dude is just chilling and he has it on his legs and it's what's that smell?
And his whole shit's on. I'm when your legs or arms go numb, that's such a weird feeling, man. Like that the body can do that, and then 2 seconds later you be back.
Well, we've talked about this, like how everybody takes stuff for granted, and then the second that thing goes away, you're like, damn, why did I not cherish that when I had it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's happened to me mad times. Like one issue I've been dealing with recently for the past like 2 weeks, although actually today, come to think of it, I've had no issue today, but it's the first time in like 2 weeks I haven't. I literally have felt like I've had water in my ear for 2 weeks.
Oh, I hate that.
Dog,
Oh.
I was like, I might actually have to go to the doctor for this shit.
Really?
Yeah, because it's one of those things like, you know how when you're flying in a plane and you want to pop your ears, you got to do this thing where you're like,
yeah, or you hold your nose or something like that.
Like I try to push like air out of my ears and do the like
And
pop
that's what it felt like?
No, like I was naturally continuing to do that all the time without even thinking about it because I was trying to get whatever the hell was in there out.
Huh.
And for like 2 weeks, it was annoying me. But now for whatever reason today, it's gone.
That's good. My grandma said not to put both Q-tips in my ear at the same time. I don't know. I think she heard that shit on Dr. Oz or some shit, but I still do that.
I've never even thought of that concept. I just do one.
Oh, you do one?
Yeah, I do one and then go flip the side and do the other one with the other side.
Oh, I take two. I'm a Q-tip waster. I take two and do them shits simultaneously.
I'm trying to think if that's genius or dumb.
I don't know. I was going to say it's dumb, but it might be genius because when I pull it out, if it's still got mad shit on it, then I could flip it over and use that other side for the same ear.
Right.
Whereas you're using one here. If it's got OD shit on it, you got to use the other side on your other ear. So you sort of assed out.
But I will say, though, it's only been – I do that – I use a Q-tip every day. So I'm never overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I'm never overwhelmed on one side. One is always enough for each ear.
Some days they'll hit you with some shit, though, that it's just like, where the fuck did all that come from?
1 out of 100. You're like, what? Did they set up a cheese factory in my ear or something? Yeah.
Because I Q-tip every day, but one time I'll come out of a shower and just be like, and it'd be like, what the fuck? All that shit was in my ear? I don't know.
All right, so one more thing I wanted to talk about real quick. I'm curious if this is going to be as much of a wake-up call for you as it was for me. So anyway, I was getting a burger like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. And when I was in the burger place, I heard a song that came on. And it sounded kind of good. Like I was sitting there and people were talking and I was like, listen, and it wasn't even that loud, but I was like, oh, that's a nice song. So I took out my phone, used the app where you can get the song.
Shazam shit?
Yeah, I had to like go to the corner and like hope everybody shut the hell up for a second and press it. Because the first like 2 or 3 times I tried it, nothing. I was like, damn it, this is not going to work. And then eventually I got it. Okay. And so I go home and I look up I pull it up and I play it and I watch like the music video of it. And this dude who's singing is like 18 years old, 19 years old or something, right? And in the video, he was wearing like an old school Bill Cosby sweater. And it dawned on me. I was like, hold on. We're now so old that the exact shit that you and I would have clowned on people for wearing, that's now the hot shit.
Yeah.
Like the shit that we would, if me and you were 18 years old and we're in school together and a teacher comes in wearing that same Cosby-ass sweater, you and I would have like spent 5 minutes ripping on him and just laughing and having fun because it looks so doofy.
Yeah. It looks doofy. Yeah.
A young cool kid is wearing it as the shit. Like that's the shit.
Yeah, man. We're fucking old as fuck. And one of those sweaters suck because they are uncomfortable as shit too. If you've ever put one of those shits on, like at your grandma's house or some shit, it's mad cottony and like thick and like doesn't fit right and just sits uncomfortably. But yeah, I watch a lot of like Kelly and Ryan and Ellen and like all their musicians they have on at night. or not at night. Like they'll do like music at the end of the show, and it's all like these like indie bands that like Ryan Seacrest is into or like Alan's a fan of. They're all rocking shit from like the 90s or whatnot, or like
No,
late
that's not
80s.
dog. That's not even. That's late '80s. That's not
Yeah,
even '90s.
late
Because on
80s.
some '90s, I'm familiar enough with the '90s where I might see something from the '90s. Like when I wore wraparound sunglasses for a hot
Yeah.
minute because that I was like, nah, I like these shits. I'm not changing to something new. But like I'll see some stuff from the '90s and be like, oh, that's all right. But this was like late '80s. This was legit Bill Cosby type
Yeah,
stuff.
it's weird. Yeah, but to him,
To him,
that
that's the
shit is
hot shit. That's
super
the hot
vintage.
new shit. So
Yeah.
even and like that's the point is like, let's say I was wearing a Cosby sweater. If young people saw me wearing a Cosby sweater, they'd be like, "Oh, cool, he's with like the fashionable times right now."
You'd be like, no,
Meanwhile,
this is a hand me down from my dad or some shit.
meanwhile, I'd be wearing it like to make fun of it or something. Like ironically, like I'd be wearing it like, "Don't I look fucking stupid, people?"
You're like, damn, that guy's hip over there, man. Where'd you get that sweater? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm making
Like-
fun of all you guys. I watched my dad has all these old VHSs that he put like on digital, and it was like birthday parties from like 91 and 93 and shit. And some of the outfits were sort of hot. Like I was rocking some Ninja Turtles shirt and I had like a Bart Simpson shirt.
Well, listen, man, that's my theory. And granted, I don't know anything about fashion, and everybody makes fun of me because of that. Remember when we went to go play cards and I was wearing like a semi-backwards Nike hat on some regular
Jed
shit?
texted me last week randomly and was like, yo, I was randomly just watching that casino video and was just laughing at the comments people were writing about Kyle.
I know, because they were comparing me to Gaddafi because it was like a colorful Nike hat or whatever.
I
It's
fuck with you
hilarious.
for just rocking that shit though.
'Cause
Like,
that's okay, but my grand theory is classic never goes out of style.
Mhm.
So what that means is anytime you wear like some sort of dress, like a suit, a nice button-down business shirt, that never goes out of style.
mhm.
By the same token, something else that never goes out of style is just some sporty shit.
Yeah.
If you wear some sporty shit, sports are going to be sports are going to be sports. They're going to be sports in 1987. They're going to be sports in 2024.
Yeah.
You know?
Or
So,
comfy
like-
shit. Like comfy shit in general, it doesn't go out of style. If you're comfy, it doesn't matter what you're wearing because you can just be like, I'm comfy as fuck. I got some sweatpants on, a jacket, I'm warm, whatever.
Exactly. That's my theory. So, but the thing is, like, things come in and out of style, and like outside of that, and it's like nobody could ever keep up with it all the time.
No.
It's like impossible. So
Yeah.
why, like, once you start wearing one shit, next year all of a sudden that's like, oh, you're wearing that,
Yep.
and it's just mad obnoxious.
And now it's like you could wear so many different colors with other different colors and mismatching shit that like you were sort of starting a trend there. And we might have did I lose you again?
No. Sorry, I looked at my phone for a second.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think twice about it when you got in the car, but like, I don't know. People were just funny with their fucking
Well,
comments.
it's because you've seen me wear Nike hats a million times.
Yeah,
A regular Nike hat, and it was just the way that shit was positioned made people think like I was doing that like on purpose or whatever.
no,
And
but
it was
that
like, no, I just fucking put the hat on my head, and however it was, it was. Like they thought I was like positioning it, and they thought I was wearing like a pea coat too or something.
I'm sort of like Adam Sandler, where it's just like I just want to wear sweats and like a sweater and some comfy shit to anything I do. Like I go to the mall on a Saturday, and like I guess the mall is the type of place where like people will throw on some jeans and sort of look nice, and like they're going out in public, so they want to like look presentable. Not me, man. Wherever the fuck I go, I really don't care. I'll rock just sweats and a t-shirt or like in a jacket because it's like I just want to be comfy. Like
Yeah.
jeans and like khaki pants, those shits are dumb uncomfortable.
Mad uncomfortable.
Like anyone
Mad
who tries to
uncomfortable.
argue, and like sweatpants look better than those shits most of the time.
Why the hell were corduroys ever a thing? People still wear those shits. I feel like that was something my mom put me in when I was 4 years old.
Yeah, like
Like
corduroy overalls or some
She
shit.
she would put me in some corduroy pants, and I'd be like, okay, I'm wearing this, I guess. But like, I haven't worn them ever as an adult.
No. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, fashion's fucking stupid. I just wear just stick with
Anyway.
one outfit and just wear that.
On
shit
that
the
note,
rest of your
guys,
life.
we're gonna wrap it up. You got anything else, Core, or want to wrap it up?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, guys.
And Skype's hitting us with the like your time's up shit.
Kind of. It's a little bit hitting with us.
Yeah.
Hitting us with it like that. See, my brain's not even working anymore.
You're Biden.
Anyway, love you guys. Yeah, exactly. I'm Joe Biden now. So what I wanted to say to people, listen, Jack, is you got to make sure that when you're with the people, they know. And my time's up.
The tape record. What was it? The tape recorder. You need the record players.
Oh
Set
yeah,
your record player.
keep the record player on at night. Make sure the kids hear words. What the fuck are you
Make
saying?
sure the kids hear words.
Come on, dog. You're not making any sense. All right, love you guys. We'll talk to you later. Peace.